Yan, so i-record natin. Okay, i-re-record natin kasi hindi maayos yung pagka-record kanina. So i-record natin for the sake sa mga laging mga team replay. Okay, so once again, this is Gurography. It's a free letter review hub. In a way na nagkakaroon tayo ng mock boards daily. Yan, free din yung ating live. Okay, and then you can also freely access yung ating YouTube channel. Okay, so just please like, share, and subscribe po. Okay, yan. So, if interested, mag-message po kayo sa Blue App, okay? With the name, Choreography Free Let Review Hub. Okay. So, ito yung mga flex ko lang, okay? Yung mga nag-message sa akin noon to let me know, which I was very thankful. Yan, kasi pinaalam nila na mga high rater sila and mga nag-top sila. Yan. So, salamat po, okay, for honoring also gurography. Okay, so Gen Ed tayo. Number one, anong bantas ang ginagamit sa paghihiwalay ng mga sugnay na may kaugnayan sa isa't isang ngunit hindi pinagdurugtong ng pangatni? Okay, A. Tuldok, B. Kuwit, C. Tuldok Kuwit, and D. Gitling. Okay, so ulitin natin, anong bantas ang ginagamit sa paghihiwalay ng mga sugnay na may kaugnayan sa isa't isa ngunit hindi pinagdurugtong ng pangatnig A. Tuldok, B. Kuwit, C. Tuldok Kuwit, and D. Gitling. Okay, so yung mga to hindi talaga, never sila na nawala. Okay. All right, and the answer there is Tuldok Kuwit. Okay, mga sugnay, okay, na of course they should be related. Okay, yan. Okay, so ito yung mga to laging lumalabas naman. So, let's tackle them. Okay, so pag kuwit, which is comma, okay, so you can just imagine, ano ba yung hinihiwalay niya? Of course, first of all, mga salita. Okay, so for example, ako ay bumili ng lapis, papel, um, crayons, yung mga ganun, okay? At pambura, okay, ganyan. Or parilala, okay? Phrases ba ang parilala, okay? Tuldok, okay? So ano ba yung hiniwalay ng tuldok? Pangungusap, sentences lang yon. So maaga siyang pumasok, tuldok, nag-aral siya ng mabuti. Alright, and tuldok kuwit, okay? May sugnay na may magkaugnay na diwa, okay? Related yon. So for example, nag-review siya ng mabuti, kaya mataas ang kanyang nakuha. So related naman talaga siya. Okay? So instead of using kaya, then you can use to the quote. Okay? And paniti, okay, open and close quotation. Okay? So ito yung mga tuwirang sinipi or eksaktong sinabi. So very clear yung ano natin, example natin yan. Sinabi niya, handa na ako. Okay? Yan. So you put open and close quotation dun sa handa na ako. And then gitling, okay. So ano ba yung pinaghihiwalay niya? Mga salitang inuulit or tambalang salita. Okay, so araw-araw. Bahay kubo. Okay, maganda. Alright, number two, the foundation rock of society, which develops values and becomes the cornerstone of peaceful living, is the A, society, B, school, C, family, and D, government. Okay, so ulitin natin. Number two, the foundation rock of society, which develops values and becomes the cornerstone of peaceful living, is the A, society, B, school, C, family, and D, government. Okay. So, foundation. So, ibig sabihin, pinaka-basic. Yan. And lahat naman, kanina, lahat naman ay tumama. Okay, so the answer, of course, there is family. Okay, kasi ang family natin, yun yung first na ano natin, na nagkaroon tayo ng socialization. Okay, so we socialize with our parents, most especially mga siblings, cousins, mga ganun. Okay, so doon natin natututunan yung mga values. Okay, honesty, yung mga ganun. And then, of course, it will become the cornerstone of peaceful living. Nga naman. Okay, and of course, ang susunod ng sa family is school. Okay, yung society, ang lumalabas din is kung saan natin natututunan yung mga norms. Yung mga ganon. Alright? Kasi alam naman natin mga norms is depende yan sa, how do you call that? Sa standard ng society. And of course, government, what do we learn from there? Okay, mga rules, mga policies. Number three, sa aming nayon, kilala si Cirilo na bukas palad na ang kahulugan ay si Cirilo ay A, mapaghinala, B, mapaghiganti, C, mapaghusga, and D, mapagkawang gawa. Alright, so ulitin natin number three, sa aming nayon, kilala si Cirilo na bukas palad na ang kahulugan ay si Cirilo ay A. Mapaghinala, B. Mapaghiganti, C. Mapaghusga, and D. Mapagkawang gawa. Alright, what is your answer? Okay, and the answer here is, of course, bukas palad, open palm. Okay, and then, so the answer there is mapagkawang gawa. Okay, alright, so talagang kahit obvious yung sagot dito, okay, so research ko pa din. Okay, so bukas palad, open palm. Okay, so ang open palm, dalawa yung meaning niyan. Okay, you are open to receive graces. Okay, and then you are also open to give. Okay, and that is why mapagkawang gawa. Okay, a helping hand. All right. Number 4, the art form that is most accessible to people of all ages of different interest and varied economic means is A. Film, B. Architecture, C. Theater, and D. Literature. So ulitin natin, the art form that is most accessible to people of all ages of different interest and varied economic means is A. Film, B. Architecture, C. Theater, and D. Literature. Okay, so iba-iba yung ay dalawa pala yung pinagpilian ng mga sumagot kanina. Okay, and alam ko na you may not agree with my answer. Okay, so I will try to do my best to explain and then kayo na yung how do you call that? Yung mag-weigh kung ano yung sa tingin nyo ay tamang sagot. Okay? Yeah. So I know na most na sagot ng iba would be literature. Okay? Kasi nga naman parang everywhere ay mga books. Yun na lang, pinaka-basic, mga books, pamphlets, lahat makikita mo dyan, di ba? So parang most accessible. Okay? But unang-una, binase ko yung sagot sa meron akong nakitang source. Okay? Yan. So, nakita ko yung source na yun, baliktad no, nakita ko yung source na yun and then I tried, okay? I tried na i-critical thinking ba, char, yung tanong. Okay? So, para sa akin, yung most accessible to people, meaning, hindi lang meaning na voluntary na mag-access. Okay? Voluntary access. It could be involuntary. Okay? Ibig sabihin na how do you call that? Gusto mo na i-access yun or hindi. Okay? Kasi there might be barriers. Okay? Tapos isa pa dyan is all ages of different interest. Okay? So, and varied economic means. Okay? So, ang film kasi, although, para imagine mo, parang may bayad yung iba, di ba? Yung streaming, yung mga ganon, di ba? Or kailangan mo ng electricity, yung ganon, para ma-access mo. Pero, isipin nyo, all ages. So, bakit ang mga bata ba nakakabasa? So, that is a barrier already, okay, for their access sa literature. Pero yung film kasi kahit hindi nila naiintindihan, pwede nilang i-access nila. Gusto nilang i-access yun kasi nga, tag doon, enticing ba? Yan, or attractive. Kasi nga, alam na rin yung film, gumagalaw and all. Yan. And different interests, okay? So, others might not like reading at all. Diba? Ganon. Pero yung movie, ay nako, kahit hindi ka mag-effort, tinitignan mo lang siya. Kahit di mo nga naiintindihan yung, yung kwento, di ba? Or yung gamit nilang language, okay? Minsan, by context na lang yung paano mo, lalo na yung mga K-drama. Alright. Okay, and may nakita ako, sabi niya, cinema's greatest asset was not only its capability, but the number of people it could reach in the million, perhaps even billions. Sabi niya, nakita ko to sa isang source. Okay, kanyan. And of course, cinema pa lang yun, ha? Hindi pa film yon, di ba? Kasi cinema is going to the cinema. All right. Stock knowledge. Following this traditional arts of architecture, sculpture, painting, literature, music, and performing arts, cinema is known as the seventh art ba yan or sixth art? Okay, so ulitin natin. So following this traditional arts of architecture, sculpture, painting, literature, music, and performing arts, cinema is known as the, okay, so yan, so seventh art ba yan or sixth art? And then lahat naman kanina ay tumama. So the answer there is seventh art. Pang seven siya. Okay, so I read further. Okay, so lahat daw yan, yung mga six arts na yan, architecture, sculpture, painting, literature, music, and performing arts, meron daw lahat yan okay, sa cinema. Okay, so ang seventh art was coined by Ricciotto Canudo. Alright. Okay, number 5, ang pinakamahalagang gamit ng wika ay ang pagkakaisa ng mga mamayan sa pamamagitan ng A, salisihan, B, pantayan, C, tagisan, and D, ugnayan. Okay, so again, ang pinakamahalagang gamit ng wika ay ang pagkakaisa ng mga mamamayan sa pamamagitan ng A, salisihan, B, pantayan, C, tagisan, and D, ugnayan. Okay, and the answer there is, yeah. All right. So yung mga pilosopo, sabi nila lahat naman yan ay gamit ng wika. Okay, so tama naman. Okay, tama naman kayo dyan. Wala namang nagsabing hindi. Okay, alright. Okay, but then, ang sinabi niya ay pinakamahalaga. And then yung pagkakaisa. Okay, so we use language so we can understand each other. And then if we understand each other, nagkakaroon ng unity. And how that is why the answer there is ugnayan. Okay, kasi ang salisihan, would there be unity? Wala. Kasi pagpapalitan ng posisyon or gawain yan. Okay, oy, sinalisihan mo ako sa ganun, ganun. So it means na hindi kayo nag-meet or something. All right, so there it does not foster unity. All right, pantayan. Okay, pagpantayin mo, okay, ibig sabihin you are comparing. Okay, so it would not promote uh, a unity. And then tagisan ng utak, okay, means there would be competition. And of course, it is also, okay, or it may not also foster unity. Number 6, declaration of martial law is justified when there is when there is A, unattempted assassinations of politicians, B, rampant graft and corruption, C, danger of famine because of predicted drought, and D, visible rebellion and widespread lawlessness. Okay, so again, 6, declaration of martial law is justified when there is A, attempted assassination of politicians, B, rampant graft and corruption, C, danger of famine because of predicted drought, and D, visible rebellion and widespread lawlessness. Okay. Okay. All right. And of course, the answer there is letter D, visible rebellion and widespread lawlessness. Okay. Yan. How do you call that? Hindi natin maka-question yan kasi nasa Article 7, Section 18 na yan. So, dalawa yan. It's in case of invasion or rebellion. Okay. So, there would be uh, uh, when the public safety requires, he may, okay, he means the president, for a period not exceeding 60 days, suspend the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus or place the Philippines or any part thereof under martial law. Kaya 'di ba si PRD is nagkaroon ng ano sa Maute, doon sa Marawi is na declare na may martial law doon. Okay, so dito ako nagkamali dati. Okay, lumabas din to. Is the suspension of the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus automatic upon the declaration of martial law? Okay, so red ba yan na yes or blue na no? Okay, so ulitin natin. Is the suspension of the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus automatic upon the declaration of martial law? Okay, red ba yan na yes or blue na no? Okay. Alright, and the answer there is no. Okay, so ikwento ko lang, okay? Kasi hindi ko lang maalala yung tanong dito pero may kwento to. Okay, kasi nga, 'di ba? Alam natin na yung writ of habeas corpus is against mga illegal detention. Okay, kasi nga illegal detention kasi nga and maiiwasan natin yung illegal detention by producing the body, okay? Or showing the body, okay? Doon sa court. Okay, yan. Pero pag nagkaroon ng martial law, okay, na-suspend yung privilege of the writ of habeas corpus kasi nga wala nang time, okay, para pumunta ka pa doon sa judge and sasabihin mo pa ito kailangan ko ng halimbawa warrant of arrest, yung mga ganun kasi nga 'di ba immediate na yung need, okay, na i-suppress yung rebellion or invasion, and that is why yung privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be or may be suspended. Okay, so sabi ko na, ang ginamit ko na dyan ay maybe, and that is why the answer there is no. Okay, kasi unang-una, it doesn't also mean na pag may martial law is lahat ay affected. Okay, so for example, nagkaroon ng martial law dito sa North Luzon, sa North Luzon. Okay? So, yung kahit andito tayo sa North Luzon, pwede na hindi tayo how do you call that? Malalagapakan ng suspension ng writ of habeas corpus. Pwedeng doon lang sa mga taong nag-rebel or nag-invade. Key. Number 7, ang atletang Pilipino ay lubhang masigasig. Ang lubhang ay isang A. Pang-abay, B. Pangalan, C. Pandiwa, and D. Pang-uri. Okay, ulitin natin number 7. Ang atletang Pilipino ay lubhang masigasig. Ang lubhang ay isang A. Pang-abay, B. Pangalan, C. Pandiwa, and D. Pang-uri. Okay, and of course, the answer there is pang-abay. Kasi sabi ko nga kanina, nag-ask ako, ano yung English ng pang-abay? Kasi alam ko sa atin na, alam ko na marami sa atin yung, mas naiintindihan natin pag sa English, okay? And then, of course, lahat kanina ay sumagot ng adverb, tama. And we know that adverb, okay, describes verb, adjective, or kapwa na adverb. Okay, yan. So, for example, lubha. Okay, lubhang describes masigasig. And masigasig, we know is pang-uri. Okay, and that is why, or adjective. And that is why yung lubha ay isang pang-abay. Okay, yan. Pero usually, parang hindi nga nawawala yan sa let's so far. Okay, usually, ang lumalabas is yung pang-uri. Okay, so magbibigay din sila ng sentence. Yan. Ako ay mabait. Ang mabait ay isang, and then the answer there would be panguri. Number 8. What is the legal process by which a child becomes the legal child of someone other than their biological parents? A. Guardianship. B. Foster care. C. Adoption. And D. Custody arrangement. Okay? So, kanina, may isa na nagkamali. Okay, so ulitin natin number 8. What is the legal process by which a child becomes the legal child of someone other than their biological parents? A. Guardianship. B. Foster care. And C. Adoption. And D. Custody arrangement. Okay, and the answer there is adoption. Okay, and that is under RA number 11642. Okay, which is called the Domestic Administrative Adoption and Alternative Child Care Act. Okay, so yung yung isa kanina na lumabas na sagot ay guardianship. Okay, so ang guardianship is just ina-identify lang kung sino yung pwede maging guardian ng isang bata. Okay, so it does not mean na ina-adapt mo siya. Okay? Yan. Kasi nga, ang adoption is, tawag doon, pag natapos mo yung adoption, legally, ay child mo na yon. Ang guardianship naman, hindi naman kailangan na legally magiging child mo yon. Okay? Foster care, of course, yan yung temporary care. Okay? Habang naghahanap ng mapupuntahan yung isang bata. And custody arrangement, ito yung process lang muna para malaman kung kanino, okay, muna, okay, or kanino yung custody ng isang bata, okay, either the father, the mother, or kung sino mang next of kin. All right. Number 9, the hiker couldn't blank the weight of the heavy backpack. A, bear na B-E-A-R, C, bear na B-A-R-E, C, bore na B-O-R, and D, bear. Okay, so ulitin natin number 9, the hiker couldn't blank the weight of the heavy backpack. A, bear, B-A-R, C, bear na B-A-R-E, C, bore, and D, beard. Bakit naghihikap ka kami? Alright, and the answer there is of course bear na B-E-A-R. Kanina lahat naman ay tama. Okay, so bear is, it's either hindi mo ma-carry, hindi mo masuporta, hindi mo mapasan, okay? Literally or figuratively or metaphorically, kasi bear can also means endure. Okay, so I cannot bear the pain, hindi ko ma-endure yung pain. Alright, yung BAR in a bear, alam naman natin, expose. Okay? Bore is, how do you call that? Past tense ng bear na BAR. Hindi naman pwede maging past tense kasi nagamit na yung couldn't. Okay, and beard, alam na natin yung beard. Okay, yes, dito. Okay, mustache, beard. All right, number 10. Who was the longest reigning monarch in European history? A. Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. B. Louis XIV of France. C. Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom. And D. King John III Sobieski of Poland. Alright, so isa lang ata yung tumama kanina dito. Marami sa inyo ay lumigwak, pero okay lang. Ngayon alam na natin. Number 10, who was the longest reigning monarch in European history? A. Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. B. Louis XIV of France. C. Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom. And King John III Sobieski of Poland. Okay, and na-understand ko kung bakit maraming nagkamali. Okay, kasi ang pinakasikat talaga is Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. And may lumalabas talaga na longest reigning siya. Okay, but longest reigning queen siya. Okay, and longest reigning monarch sa buong Britain. Okay, but here it is entire Europe. Okay, that is why the answer there is Louis XIV of France. Okay, 72 years and 110 days. Okay, ang isa pa na ano na hawak na title ni Queen Elizabeth II is yung most currencies featuring the same individual. Kasi maraming mga countries ang gumamit ng picture niya. Ano yun? Okay. Alright. Ito naman, lumalabas din po to, King Louis XIV, whose real name is Louis Guidon. Okay, or Louis the God-given, styled himself as the Sun King ba yan or Sun God? Okay. So sabi niya styled himself, ibig sabihin, parang self-claim lang niya to, okay? Hindi talaga binigay sa kanya tong tawag na to, okay? Siya lang, okay? Alright, and the answer there is Sun King. Okay, pag wala yung Sun King, it is La Roi Soleil. Okay, yan. Okay, La Roi Soleil. Yan. So, bakit tinatawag siyang Sun King? Kasi inadapt niya yung sun as his personal emblem. O di ikaw na. Okay, number 11, blank is a system or the people through the government or cooperatives own and control major industries like healthcare, transportation, and energy. The goal is to reduce inequality and ensure everyone has access to basic needs like education, healthcare, and housing. Okay, A, capitalism ba yan? B, socialism. C, feudalism. And D, mercantilism. Okay. Alright, ulitin natin. Blank is a system where the people, through the government or cooperatives, own and control major industries like healthcare, transportation, and energy. Okay, the goal is to reduce inequality and ensure everyone has access to basic needs like education, healthcare, and housing. A, capitalism. B, socialism. C, feudalism. And D, mercantilism. So, ang alam ko dito is yung sa Norway. Okay, yan. So, ang clue dito is the goal is to reduce inequality and ensure everyone has access to basic needs. And that is why the answer there is socialism. Okay, yung socialism at saka communism, they are very, very, sabi nga nila si Karl Marx, he used these two words interchangeably. Pero meron silang difference. Okay, unang-una, magkaiba yung goal. Ang goal ng communism is there will be a classless, society. Okay, and then, lahat ng mga pagmamay-ari, okay, even the major industries would be commune. Okay, parang ganon. Alright? Okay, so capitalism, alam na natin, di ba? Capitalism, okay, na-encourage yung private ownership. Okay, feudalism, laging lumalabas, it is about land ownership. Okay, feudalism, kaya may feudal lords. Okay, yan. And mercantilism, lumalabas din po, pero mostly sa major natin sa Soxai to. Okay, yan. So, focus sila sa accumulating wealth through through trade and government regulation. And ang isa pa lumalabas dito is through kasi nung I'm talking about noon ha, yan is ang mercantilism is papayamanin ng isang bansa through acquiring lots of silvers and gold. Number 12, Our recipe calls for 2 eggs for every cup of flour. If a head chef uses 28 cups of flour, how many eggs will he need? Okay, A, 55 eggs, B, 56 eggs, C, 65 eggs, and D, 66 eggs. Okay, so ulitin natin. Our recipe calls for 2 eggs for every cup of flour. If a head chef uses 28 cups of flour, how many eggs will you need? A, 55 ba yan? B, 56. C, 65. And D, 66. Yan. So this is problem about sa proportion. Okay. So very easy naman yung sa problem sa proportion. Okay. So So sabi niya, a recipe calls for 2 eggs for every cup. So 2 eggs for every cup dito. Okay. And then sabi niya, if a head chef uses 28 cups of flour. So nauna yung 28 cups of flour dito. Pero wag niyong ilagay dito yung 28 cups. Okay. Kasi dapat, syempre, di ba, terms alike. So yung 28 cups, andito na yung 1 cup dito sa baba. Ilagay niyo din yung 28 cups dito. And then yung X eggs ilagay dyan kasi hindi natin alam kung ilan. Yan. And then after that, pag nalagay mo na dyan, you cross multiply. So ito, 1 cup times X eggs, so 1X. And then 2 eggs times 28, 228. Yan. So, yan. Ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. Alright? Number 13, what is the sum of the interior angles of a triangle? A, 90 degrees, B, 180 degrees, C, 270 degrees, and D, 360 degrees. Okay, so ulitin natin, what is the sum of the interior angles of a triangle? A, 90 degrees, B, 180 degrees, C, 270 degrees, and D, 360 degrees. Okay, and the answer there is 180 degrees. Okay, so meron naman tayong meron naman tayong formula sa pagkuha ng mga interior angles ng mga gons. Okay, yung mga lahat ng gons. Okay, yan, triangle, how do you call that? Quadrilateral, ano pa yung mga heptagon, hexagon, septagon, yung mga ganon. Okay, yan. Alright, pero, okay, pagdating sa triangle, whatever kind of triangle it is, okay, scalene triangle, isosceles, right triangle, equilateral, equiangular, automatic 180 degrees. Okay, so sabi niya, for example, yung A is 20, yung B ay 30. So 20, 30, that is 20, 30, 50. Yan. So automatic 130 to kasi nga 180 lahat yan. Okay, pero iligay ko lang dito how to solve, okay, yung interior angles ng mga gons. Okay, so although napag-aralan na natin to before. Okay, so S, okay, sum is equals to n minus 2 times 180 degrees. Okay, so ano yung n? Number of sides. Okay, and that is why yung triangle is, how do you call that? 180 kasi ilan ba yung sides ng triangle? Okay, 3. Okay, so 3 minus 2 kasi constant yung 2 times 180. Okay, so parehas lang din doon. For example, heptagon. Hepta is 5 sides. Okay, so 5 minus 2 times 180. Okay, for example, dodecagon. Dodecagon, ilan yung sides nun? 12. Okay, so 12 minus 2 times 180. So 1/8 automatic. 1/8 yung niya. Ano pa ba? Octagon. Ilan ba yung sides ng octagon? 8. Okay, so 8 minus 2 times 180. Ganon. Alright? Number 14, what affectionate name of endearment did Rosa Rizal's sisters commonly use when referring to him? Okay, right. A, Ute, B, Pepe, C, Totoy, and D, Banong. Okay, so ulitin natin what affectionate name of endearment did Rosa Rizal's sisters commonly use when referring to him? A, Ute, B, Pepe, C, Totoy, and D, Banong. Okay. So parang isa lang ata yung tumama to, ito kanina. Okay, kasi nga naman, 'di ba? Parang lagi nating naririnig na ang sagot, ang ano nun is Pepe. Okay, but the answer there is Ute. Okay, so may nakita talaga akong source dyan. Okay, linagay ko pa dyan, hyperlink this one. Ayan. So Ute. Okay, kasi although nabasa ko doon is usually ang noon kapag Jose yung pangalan mo, ang nickname mo would be Jose, Peping, at saka Pepe, okay? But for Jose Rizal, yung sa kanya is Ute, okay? And then may nakita din ako na pag sa family, sa friends niya, okay, and sa other people, ang kanyang palayaw ay Pepe, okay? But here, ang tanong is Jose Rizal's sister, okay? Ibig sabihin sa family niya. So the answer there is Ute. Number 15, what term refers to the tendency of people to remember unfinished tasks better than completed ones? Okay, so A, Zeigarnik effect, B, Pygmalion effect, C, Golem effect, and D, spotlight effect. Ulitin natin, what term refers to the tendency of people to remember unfinished tasks better than completed ones? A, Zeigarnik effect, B, Pygmalion effect, C, Golem effect, and D, spotlight effect. Okay. So sabi ko nga, kailangan yung i-memorize yung mga common. Okay? Para pag alam nyo kasi yon, may slash nyo na. Okay? So for example, kanina may sumagot ng Pygmalion at saka Golem effect. And I know this question is very unique. Okay? But at least, kung alam mo yung Pygmalion, kasi laging lumalabas yan, alam mo yung Golem, dalawa na lang pagpipilian mo. Okay? Spotlight na lang tsaka Zeigarnik. Okay, so sabi ko nga kanina, dapat inalis na yung Pygmalion kasi Pygmalion and Golem, okay? Pygmalion and Golem, they are all about expectations, okay? So ang Pygmalion is kapag high yung expectation, for example, ng isang teacher sa isang student, okay? So it could be na mag-boost yung moral ng isang tao or yung student, and that is why it would increase yung yung performance, okay? So yan. Ang Golem kabaliktaran naman. So kung low yung expectation mo sa isang tao, okay, malamang sa malamang magdi-decrease din yung kind of performance kasi pwedeng na-demoralize yung bata. Okay, yan. Yan. And spotlight effect. Okay, so imagine niyo, ano ba yung spotlight? Okay, so spotlight means naka-focus sa isa. Di ba? Yan. So, ibig sabihin, yun ang tinitignan. Okay, yan. So, pwede niyong gamitin yan. Yan. So, how do you call it? Mag-i-imagine kayo. So, ito bang ito bang tendency of people to remember unfinished task is nakafocus ba? Yan. So, pwede niyong pag-isipan yan. So, pwede mong sabihin na oo, pwede hindi. Pero at least, di ba? Pero sa akin, hindi. Okay, so, alisin na natin yung BCD and the answer there would be Zeigarnik effect. Okay, yan. So, si Bluma Zeigarnik, na-coin niya to, okay, nung how do you call that? Na-observe niya to sa mga sa mga waiters, okay? So, sabi niya doon, yung mga waiters, they remember yung mga hindi nabayaran, hindi nila nagawa, okay, or accomplished na mga orders in comparison or in comparison dun sa mga nabayaran tsaka na-complete. Okay, yan. And sabi ko nga, spotlight effect. Okay, so overestimation of how much others notice and judge their appearance. Okay, so ibig sabihin, feeling mo, okay, spotlight, feeling mo yung spotlight sa'yo, pero hindi naman. Okay, and ano yung ibig sabihin pag nakafocus yung spotlight sa'yo, feeling mo ikaw yung ino-observe, di ba? So sabi nga niya, overestimation. Ganyan. So feeling mo ikaw yung pinag-uusapan, feeling mo ginajudge ka, feeling mo na-notice ka. Okay, feeling lang pala. Okay, number 16, Teodora Alonso, the mother of Jose Rizal, was convicted for 2 years and 4 months after being falsely accused of A, theft, B, treason, C, poisoning her sister-in-law, and D, poisoning her brother-in-law. Okay. So, dalawa yung pinagpilian ng mga sumagot kanina. So, again, Teodora Alonso, the mother of Jose Rizal, was convicted for 2 years and 4 months after being falsely accused of A, theft, B, treason, C, poisoning her sister-in-law, and D, poisoning her brother-in-law. Okay. And, okay, kaya ako mahilig magkwento, okay, kasi nga, how do you call that? Minsan, sa kwento mo nakukuha yung mga ibang sagot. Okay, so for example, noon, may question na lumabas, ilang kilometers yung linakan, okay, ni Teodora Alonso when she was falsely accused. Okay, yan. Yun, falsely accused. Ang sagot niyon ay 10 kilometers. So, tinanong ko to ulit kanina nung natakal natin. Lahat naman tama yung sagot ay 50 kilometers. I mean, 50 kilometers. So, nung tinanong ko yun, nagkwento pa rin ako. Ganon. So, kaya nga, mahilig akong magkwento kasi tingnan niyo, may mga ganitong tanong pala. And dun sa kwento ko, sinabi ko kung ano yung reason. Yan. And the answer there, okay, is letter C. So, may mga sumagot kanina ng letter D. Okay, but the answer here, sabi ko nga, is poisoning her sister-in-law. Okay, kasi yung sister-in-law niya at the time na asawa ni Jose Alberto. Tama ba? Yan. Basta kapatid ni Teodora Alonso na lalaki, meron siyang asawa. Yung asawa niya nagloko, okay? Na she had an affair with a guardia civil. Okay, yan. So, ang ginawa ng kapatid niyang lalaki, ikinulong niya sa isang room, tong asawa niya. So, nag-bring siya ng food, itong si Teodora Alonso. Okay, doon. And hindi kinain nung sister-in-law niya. Okay, hindi niya kinain and then she fed it to the dog and then allegedly the dog died. So, inisip daw niya na pinopoison siya. Okay, ganon. Pero may nabasa ako noon na actually it didn't happen. Talagang she was falsely accused daw kasi pinipilit daw ni Teodora Alonso na wag maghiwalay or huwag mag-divorce yung mag-asawa. Eh, gusto nga nung babae na kumawala. Alright? Okay, so BQ16. So ngayon, sino? Okay, yung sister-in-law na yan who falsely accused her of poisoning, leading to Teodora's imprisonment for 2 years and 4 months. A. Teodora Alberto, B. Maria Rizal, C. Josefa Mercado, and D. Narcisa Rizal. Okay, so tignan nyo, for 2 years and 4 months, reiterate ko yan kasi lumalabas din po yan. How long was she in prison? So 2 years ang sagot. Okay. And of course, the answer there is Teodora Alberto. Okay, yes. Okay, so magkapangalan pala sila. Okay, so sabi nga ni Sir ano kanina, katukhayo niya. Okay, parehas silang Teodora. Number 17, ang wika ay masistemang balangkas ng mga tunog. This definition of language emphasizes which aspect. A, language is arbitrary. B, language is structured and rule-governed. C, language is dynamic and changing. And D, language is personal and subjective. Okay, so may mga nagkamali dito kanina. Again, ang wika ay masistemang balangkas ng mga tunog. Okay, this definition of language emphasizes which aspect. A, language is arbitrary. B, language is structured and rule-governed. C, language is dynamic and changing. And D, language is personal and subjective. Okay. So, kahit hindi mo alam dyan, may clue naman dyan. Sabi niya, masistemang balangkas. Okay, kapag may sistema, okay, there is a system, it means it is mayroon siyang structure. Okay, and that is why the answer there is letter B, language is structure and rule governed. Okay, meron siyang sinusundan na sistema. Okay, yan. Okay, kanina kasi may sumagot na letter C. Okay, so language is dynamic and changing. Okay, so we are talking about a system, okay, a structure. Ang letter C kasi is sinasabi lang nila nag-evolve yung language. Okay, depende yan. For example, ngayon dahil uso ang cellphone, yan, at picturean mo yung sarili mo. Okay, so na-coin yung word na selfie. Of course, noon wala namang phone. Kaya noon walang phone. Ganun, camera lang, ganun. Ang hirap namang mag-selfie. Okay, ganyan. Alright, letter D, language is personal and subjective, although malayo na, but explain ko lang, baka lumabas. It is not, okay? Language is not personal and subjective. Okay, in fact, language is social and shared. Kasi, di naman pwedeng ikaw lang. So, ano yun? Personal, ano yun? Kinakausap mo sarili mo. Ikaw lang nakakaintindi, di ba? It should be social and shared, okay? So, you can understand each other. Kasi yun naman yung pinaka important role ng language. Okay? So, itong A, language is arbitrary. Okay? So, ano ba yung ibig sabihin nun? So, i-explain ko lang to kasi lumalabas din po to ha. So, ang pag tinignan niyo yung meaning ng arbitrary, okay, yung the word alone, arbitrary, means random, okay, gumagawa ka ng mga choices, more decisions na random, okay, but when it comes to linguistic, pag sinabi mong arbitrary, okay, walang connection or logical connection between a word, tapos yung the thing it represents, okay, so for example, cat, sabi mo, ano ba example ko? Dog pala yan. So, for example, dog, okay, or cat. Yung word na cat does not look, okay, or sound, or smell, or whatever, like an actual dog, di ba? Parang, tawag doon. Kasi kung imagine nyo, kung hindi, kung language is not arbitrary, dapat pare-parehas tayo, okay? Na pag dog dito, dog, lahat yan. Kasi nga, there is a connection between that thing, that dog and the word, okay? Hindi naman. So, napatunayan na language is arbitrary kasi aso sa atin, di ba? So, saan natin kinuha yung word na aso? Hindi naman pwedeng sabihin na, kasi mukha siyang aso, di ba? Hindi naman ganon. Alright. Okay. Even dun sa ano, halimbawa, sa onomatopoeia, di ba? Yung sa paggamit ng mga sounds. Okay. So, natawa lang ako. Naisip ko lang yung example na to kasi, ah, na-learn ko, okay, na halimbawa sa China, at least kasi dito, di ba? Pag tinanong, ano yung sound ng aso? Parang automatic tayo na arf, arf, ganun. Kasi nga, sanay tayo sa English, di ba? Hindi mo masyado maiisip yung aw, 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 di ba? Pero nung sa China, nalaman ko na ang tunog ng doon, ng aso is wang, wang, wang. Wang, 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 ganun. And so ibig sabihin talaga, walang connection talaga, okay? It just proves, okay, na walang connection, okay, yung word at saka yung nire-represent niya. Number 18, who is a linguist and professor who defined language as a systematic framework of sounds, tunog, that are selected and arranged in an arbitrary manner. Okay, kaya ko in-explain yung arbitrary. Okay, to be used by people belong to a culture. A. Henry Allen Gleason Jr., B. Ferdinand de Saussure, si Noah Chomsky, and D. Leonard Bloomfield. Okay, so nagtaka ako. Okay, hindi man ako nagtaka, pero yes, walang nakakuha sa sagot kanina to. Okay? But this is really an actual question, pero naitagalog nga lang. And the answer there is Henry Allen Gleason. Okay? So ang lumalabas ito ay sino ang nagsabi, sabi niya, ang wika ay masistemang balangkas ng mga tunog na pinili at isinasaayos sa pamamaraang arbitraryo upang gumagamit ng mga taong nabibilang sa isang kultura. Yan yung ginamit sa question. Ang sagot dyan ay Henry Allen Gleason. Number 18, in literature, what is a term for a character who serves as a direct contrast to another character, highlighting the latter's traits? A. Archetype, B. Foil, C. Antihero, and D. Confidant. Confident. Okay, so again, in literature, what is a term for a character who serves as a direct contrast to another character, highlighting the latter's traits? A. Archetype, B. Foil, C. Antihero, and D. Confident. Okay. All right, and the answer there is foil. Okay, so I just want to let you know, ang foil, okay, kahit sinabi niya na direct contrast, at wala diyan yung villain, okay, or kontrabida. Kasi nga, ang foil doesn't always mean na kontrabida. Okay, so pwede siyang kontrabida, pwedeng hindi din. Okay, ang ano lang kasi ng foil is gusto lang niya na ang foil lang kasi is contrast nga nung protagonist kasi gusto nilang ipakita, okay, or how do you call that, i-focus, okay, yung kung gaano kaganda, alright, yung protagonist. Okay, yan. So for example, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, parang ganon. So alam naman natin si Jekyll is a good person. Okay, si Hyde is hideous. Okay, yan. So bad siya. Yan. Okay, and Draco Malfoy and Harry Potter. Okay, so si Harry Potter daw ay brave, mga ganon, which is the opposite of Draco Malfoy. Okay, and let's see. Right, so archetype, may sumagot sa archetype kanina. Okay, so ang archetype is mga character to na laging meron. Okay, kasi kung wala, anong kwento? Walang kwento. Okay, so for example, number 1, hero. Of course, dapat may hero or protagonist. Okay, of course, meron laging villain. Okay, yan. O gaano siya ka-villain, does not matter. Okay, basta villain, kontrabida. And then, mentor. Okay, yung mentor is yan yung wise guy, di ba? Yan, kinakausap yung protagonist. Okay, anti-hero. Okay, so anti or anti-hero, it is still, okay, it is still the main character. Okay, pero hindi siya traditional na hero. Di ba ang traditional na hero is mabait, malakas, gwapo, okay, yung mga ganon. Okay, yung anti-hero is pwedeng selfish siya. Okay? Alright? Flawed or morally gray, sabi niya. Okay? So, for example, naalala ko yung friend ko, ilang beses na yan sinabi sa akin. Kasi palagi kami nag-uusap na, ito, panoorin mo to, ganyan, ganyan. Mahilig kami ganun. Tapos, years and years, lagi niya nababanggit yung Dexter, which I really don't want to watch. Lagi kong sinasabi, ayoko nga yan, ganyan, ganyan. Tapos, alam na niya yung reason ko. Kasi nga, di ba si Dexter is, ano, flawed siya eh, di ba? Yung nag-KILL siya ng mga bad people. So kahit bad people yung KILL niya, di ba? Parang ayaw ko pa din kasi for me, flawed siya. Kaya yung ganon. Alright, and of course, confident. Okay, so kahit naman kahit sa hindi story, alam mo na kung ay yung confident, you are my confidant. Okay, ibig sabihin sa kanya mo sinishare yung mga secrets mo. Okay, and nag-ask ka ng advices. Number 19, which art movement, characterized by distorted forms, vivid colors, and emotional intensity, was pioneered by Vincent van Gogh and Paul Gauguin. K.A. Impressionism, B. Cubism, C. Expressionism, and D. Surrealism. Again, number 19, which art movement, characterized by distorted forms, vivid colors, and emotional intensity, was pioneered by Vincent van Gogh and Paul Gauguin? A. Impressionism, B. Cubism, C. Expressionism, and D. Surrealism. Yan. So, si Vincent van Gogh, yung Starry Starry Night niya, okay, is, how do you call that? Isa ito, okay? Ito yung sagot dito. Okay, although officially daw, yung Starry Starry Night is, it belongs to post-impressionism. Okay, and the answer there is expressionism. Okay, so sabi niya, vivid colors. Tingnan mo naman, di ba? Napaka-vivid talaga yung colors. Emotional intensity. Okay, so kanina tinanong ko to, alam niyo ba kung ano to? Sabi ko kasi lumalabas din to sa LED. Okay, this is the screen. Okay, yan. And distorted. Distorted nga naman. Okay, yan. So, gumanon kasi siya kung nakita niyo yung parang gumanon siya. Alright, ang isa pang lumalabas dito is kung sino ang laging lumalabas dito sa screen, sino yung nag-paint. Okay, and hindi ko to nakakalimutan kasi ang clue ko doon is yung last na letter ng scream, which is M. Okay, so scream, munch. Munch. Okay, so si Munch ang nag-paint nito. Alright, so ano yung mga to? Okay, so impressionism. Okay, so fleeting light and color effects. Okay, yeah. Tingnan nyo, nag-fleet nga naman yan. Fleeting lights and color effect and then usually mga outdoors. Okay, yan. So ano yung sample? Sunrise by Claude Monet. Okay, Cubism. Okay, so sino yung mga famous pioneers? Pablo Picasso. Okay, number one, kasi siya yung father of Cubism. So you can just imagine, Cubism, cubes. Okay, mga geometric shapes. Okay, so yan, ganyan. Okay, yeah. So let them move whatever. Okay, yeah. Okay, expressionism, na-explain na natin yan. And then, ano to? Ano to? Surrealism. Okay, surreal. Okay, bizarre. Okay, hindi ka panipaniwala. Okay, so lumalabas po to yung Persistence of Memory by Salvador Dali. Okay, so ang lumalabas dito is yung parang mga melting clocks. Okay, the answer there is the Persistence of Memory. Okay, yan. So, yun nga, sabi niya, it features bizarre, fantastical, or illogical scenes. Scene. Alright? Ito yung hindi natin natapos kanina. Number 20, what is the term for a situation in which an individual chooses a less optimal alternative to avoid the risk of losing something already owned? A sunk cost fallacy, B, loss aversion, C, endowment effect, and D, status quo bias. Okay, so ulitin natin. Number 20, what is the term for a situation in which an individual chooses a less optimal alternative to avoid the risk of losing something already owned? A, sunk cost fallacy, B, loss aversion, C, endowment effect, and D, status quo bias. Okay. Okay. So nagbasa ako about this. Okay. So explain lang natin. Individual chooses, kasi pwedeng magkaparehas to eh. Very thin line. Okay. So less optimal alternative to avoid the risk of losing something already owned. Okay. So meron ka na nun. Okay. And yung kung ano yung meron ka, it may be causing you loss or whatever or pain, yung mga ganon. Okay? Pero ayaw mong i-let go just because meron ka na nun. Okay? So, nung nagbasa ako doon, sabi nga nila, sabi niya, ang ano kasi nito, ang parang pinanghugutan nito is yung letting go of something that you own is twice. Okay? Twice as painful kesa dun sa pag linet go mo ay makukuha ka. May makukuha ka. Okay? Parang ganon. Alright? So, mas pipiliin mo pa na you hold on to it kasi nga mas masakit yung mag-let go, parang ganon. Alright, and the answer there is loss aversion. Okay, so sino yung nag-coin nito? Si Daniel Kahneman and his associate Amos Tversky. Okay, so tingnan natin yung difference. Ito yung sunk cost fallacy. Ito rin na question ko na ata to. Okay, so sunk cost fallacy. Okay, so ito naman, oo, natanong ko na to, maalala ko. Okay, is ayaw mo, di ba? Kaya sabi ko, there's a thin line. Okay, so ayaw mong mag-let go. Okay, not because, kasi ang loss aversion is, ayaw mo mag-let go kasi nga ayaw mo yung pain. Kasi nga twice daw yung pain, okay, of letting go, okay? Rather than benefiting if mag-let go ka. Okay, ang sunk cost fallacy is, ayaw mong mag-let go kasi meron ka nang na-invest, okay? So it's either money, okay, yung mga ganun, money, effort, yung mga ganun. Alright, so by the way, these are cognitive biases, okay? So ito yung mga kung bakit nagkakaroon ng irrational judgment tayo or decisions. Okay, endowment, sabi niya, okay? So the tendency for people to value an object more highly simply because you own it. Okay, so for example, ito yung phone ko na to. Yung phone ko na to, halimbawa, binili ko lang to ng 50,000 halimbawa. Tapos, dahil sa akin, okay, feeling ko, ay ano to, nalagaan ko tayo, ganyan, 60,000 to. Parang gano'n, okay? Dahil sa akin to parang gano'n. Okay, pero, pag meron ka naman, halimbawa may nakita ka, o ganun din yung phone ng friend mo, tapos binibenta niya yung 60,000 pesos, ayaw mo, sabi mo, hindi, 50 lang naman yung market value niyan ganyan. Pero ikaw, may sarili kang market value na binigay sa kung anong meron ka. Alright? And of course, the other one is status quo. Okay, alam naman natin yung status quo is kung ano yung ano lang, yung balanse. Okay, so kung ano yung meron. Okay, so ibig sabihin na, sabi nga, a preference for the current state of affairs. Okay, dun ka lang. Okay, bakit? Kasi doon ka komportable ayaw mong maging uncomfortable, ayaw mong ma-inconvenient, ayaw mong magkaroon ng kaaway, parang ganon. So you are just supporting the status quo, okay, which is not good. Which are self-righteous yan. Okay. So ito naman, para maintindihan na talaga natin, ma-gets talaga natin, matignan na talaga natin kung na-gets nyo. Which of the following is the best example of loss aversion? A person continues to eat at a restaurant even though the food is terrible because they already paid for the meal. B, a person refuses to sell their stock at a loss because they would rather hold onto it than accept losing money, even if keeping it means risking even more loss. Okay, see, a person insists that that the used car is worth 500,000 pesos simply because they own it, even though the market price is only 300,000. See, a person stays in the current job for 10 years, even though they are unhappy, simply because they fear the uncertainty of finding a new one. Okay, and of course, yan. Sabi ko nga kanina, ano ba? Yung loss aversion is ayaw mo mag-let go. Okay? Kasi nga ayaw mo yung pain. And that is why letter B ang sagot. Okay? So a person refuses to sell their stock at a loss because they would rather hold on to it than accept losing money. Even if keeping it means risking even more loss. Okay, so tingnan natin to. Okay, letter A, a person continues to eat at a restaurant. Bakit? Because you already paid for it. Parang nagkaroon ka na ng investment doon. Okay, and that is why the answer there is sunk cost fallacy. Okay, letter C, a person insists that their used cars is worth 500,000. Okay, just because you own it. So that is why this is the answer there is endowment, di ba? And a person stays in their current jobs for 10 years. Yan, kasi kahit hindi ka happy, di ba? So ibig sabihin, nagsistay ka dun sa work mo kasi ayaw mong ma-inconvenient, ayaw mo nang mag-risk, and that is why the answer, ang letter D ay status quo bias. Okay. All right, and that ends our recording. So, agyaman salamat kayo. Thank you, shukran, and salamat ida you namin. So, I'm gonna post this sa ating YouTube. Thank you so much.